Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Daybreak. Today is Friday, August 21st. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
And I'm Joe Morano. It is a Friday. Last dash, kids, all right? Enjoy your final weekday free before school starts back up. I'm sorry, but we go through it every year. The kids have just got to soak up that last bit of summer while they can, right?
Yeah, soak it up this weekend. But I wonder if some kids are more excited this time around because they haven't been in school since March. It's been a long time.
That's right.
And maybe summer they haven't really been able to see their friends as much. So it's been a different summer. So maybe they're more excited now than ever before.
Good way to look at that, too. Plenty of school coverage coming your way starting up next week, but we got to get you set for the weekend, and it's going to be a classic August weekend, isn't it, Elisa?
Yes, and I've got the school bus forecast already in my graphics. I'm going to drag it in right after daybreak to,
you dusted it off? It's ready to go?
I dusted it off. It's in there. It's like on standby, and it's at the, what do you call it, Joe?
On deck.
Yes, it's on deck. It's
on deck. What do you call it?
Because I knew he would know what was in my head. Yeah, it's on deck, and I'm going to push it up into the graphics as soon as this daybreak is over, because we don't need it today, but we'll need it on Monday, you know?
Yeah, it'll get called up on Monday.
Yeah.
Called up to the plate.
It's up to the plate on Monday. It's ready to go. But yeah, so we're starting out this morning. A beautiful sunrise. It's 61 degrees right now. Southerly winds and pleasant dew points. So another really beautiful, quiet start out there this morning. Temperatures are about 5 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday. It is 60 degrees in West Plains, 64 degrees in Monette, and 61 degrees in Springfield. So a little bit warmer than yesterday, but still feeling pleasant. You still have dew points in the upper 50s, so the humidity is still staying in control. It's still staying pretty low with some greens on the muggy meter map. Dry roads all day today. Again, lots of sunshine, a beautiful afternoon. We trend a little bit warmer, but not terribly sticky. We get that high up to 89 degrees today, which is spot on average for this time of year. So warmer today. The weekend's a little bit hot and sticky. A sunny stretch continues until we're tracking double trouble. Details on the tropics, and we'll look at two of those systems that could impact us way later on next week. Details on that coming up in 10 minutes.
New for you this morning. The Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety is reminding you of the importance of not driving while impaired. Nigel McDonald is live now with more on this group's message this morning. Nigel, good morning.
Yeah, Joe, well, good morning. The message is simple: drive sober or get pulled over. Now, this campaign begins today and will run through September 7th. Now, back in 2019, 184 people were killed and 590 were seriously injured in crashes that involved at least one substance-impaired driver. Now, John Nelson works for MoDOT and says impaired driving is a year-round concern in Missouri, but says the goal of this campaign is to help create public awareness to the dangers and consequences of driving while under the influence. Nelson says it's important to remember impaired driving isn't limited to just alcohol.
There's other things. It could be illegal drugs. It could be prescription drugs, even over-the-counter medication. So any substance, maybe you're coming home from a outpatient surgery and you're on some kind of pain medication. They always tell you to have somebody else drive you home. It's just something to keep in mind. There are lots of things that can impair us and take away our ability to do our task at hand.
Well, Nelson says to consider the others on the roadways when you get into those kinds of situations so that we can all make it home safe. Reporting live in Springfield, Nigel McDonald, Ozarks First.
Flu season is coming up, and unlike years in the past, there will be two respiratory illnesses that we have to watch out for. Dr. David Barbie and Catherine Wall, who's with the Springfield Greene County Health Department, both spoke with us this week. They say their number one concern this fall is that you can catch both the flu and COVID-19 at the same time. Also, healthcare professionals are already stretched thin because of the pandemic.
This year is especially important. If we can reduce the number of people with the flu, it will allow us to focus on and devote resources to those individuals that become even more ill with COVID.
One of the reasons, we did some of the efforts that we have is really to make sure that we had resources and space in our hospitals and in our healthcare system.
Now, with everything doctors and medical workers have already gone through this year, they say there is one silver lining to be hopeful for, that many are still taking precautions to avoid COVID-19, which will also reduce the incidence of the flu.
Taking a look at education coverage this morning. Last night, Springfield Public Schools' brand new Academy of Fine and Performing Arts kicked off its first year with a back-to-school night. The partnership between SPS Foundation, and Springfield Little Theater will allow students to learn about a variety of fine and performing arts. Over 230 fifth grade students applied, and 50 were selected through a lottery system run by the district. Educators say they are ready to tackle the challenges associated with starting a program during a pandemic.
It's going to be a very unique learning environment, but we are sure that as artists, as creative people, that we are some of the best positioned to handle these challenges because artists see possibilities where others might see limitations.
The school district will be leasing 2 dedicated classroom spaces and an administrative office from Springfield Little Theater.
We want to let you know that the Springfield Greene County Health Department will be holding a news briefing this afternoon at 2:30. Health Director Clay Goddard and Springfield Police Chief Paul Williams are scheduled to speak to talk about enforcement of the city's current phase of the road to recovery. Make sure you tune in today at 2:30 here on Color 10, or you can watch it on our website, ozarksfirst.com.
We're starting out pleasant again this morning. It's dry and sunny with that temperature at 61 degrees right now. Details on a hot and sticky weekend and then double trouble in the tropics. Your forecast is up next.
From Color 10 Ozarks First, Jennifer Abreu, Joe Morano, and weather with meteorologist Alisa Rafa. This is Color 10 News Daybreak. And now weather with meteorologist Alisa Rafa, certified by WeatherRate for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Good morning and happy Friday. We've got a stunning sunrise out there this morning. It is beautiful. 61 degrees right now in Springfield with clear skies, sunshine, south and west winds and dew points in the upper 50s, so it still feels pretty good out there this morning. We're a little bit warmer than yesterday by about 5 degrees in spots, continuing to tack on a few degrees every morning and every afternoon through the next couple of days as we keep this warming trend in play. It's 64 degrees in Monette, 61 degrees in Springfield, and 60 degrees to start in West Plains, so a little bit warmer, but the humidity is staying in control. You still have dew points in the upper 50s. So it's, again, staying pretty comfortable out there this morning. The heat and humidity will not be bad as we head through the day today. We'll stay at the bottom of the muggy meter where it's pretty comfortable this morning. Starts to get a little bit stickier this weekend, but overall the humidity is not going to be too bad. So you've got that Canadian high pressure still in control, still rolling in some of that drier feel to the air where it's pleasant out there this morning, and it stays pretty pleasant as we head through the afternoon. You get those temperatures warmer and closer to average up to about 89 degrees, but the humidity will stay pretty low, so be really nice. A gorgeous, warm, mostly sunny afternoon. The humidity, again, not too bad. 89 degrees for that high. Overnight lows will dip into the middle 60s, and then by tomorrow, a little bit hotter with those highs up around 90 degrees. This area of high pressure continues to just take over, sprawl out, and will bring us some dry conditions and some hotter conditions through the weekend and into next week. The air masses stay pretty dry where we're not really looking at too much in the way of rain, but by the middle of next week, we'll have some tropical systems nearby, so some of that moisture starts to creep northward, and we'll have to watch out for that middle to late next week. So here's what to expect. A warming trend continues. You're near 90 degrees today. Hot and sticky all weekend with sunshine and highs in the lower 90s. Still little to no rain through early next week. So if you're feeling drought conditions in your garden or on your farm, your yard, those will continue. Then we're tracking the tropics late next week. Right now we've got 2 tropical depressions. They're named 13 and 14 because they don't have that organization yet. Once they strengthen, organize a little bit more, they will be named Laura and Marco. Whichever one strengthens first gets the name Laura first. So those are the 2 spots. They both work their way eastward, with this one tracking through the Caribbean islands and then swiping Florida. The other one will head up the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico and then head up the Gulf of Mexico there. But you've got that cone of concern from the Texas coast through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and into Florida. Now, of course, too early for impacts, intensity, landfall, all that, right? Still a lot of question marks this far out, but that moisture will pool up along the Gulf Coast and then could send its way northward, where we'll either be more humid, track showers, something like that, right? So we have to just keep an eye out for that by the end of next week. 89 degrees today, mostly sunny and warmer, 62 degrees overnight tonight. Still feeling pretty pleasant. Turning hot tomorrow, 91 degrees. A hot and sticky weekend, not too bad. Highs in the lower 90s. Again, not terrible for summer standards. You're a little bit hot and sticky through early next week. If we get anything from the tropics, we're kind of watching that by the end of next week. So we still have a long ways to go.
All right, we're back to seeing those 90s, which par for the course for August.
Yeah.
No problem there. All right, let's get some celebrity birthdays happening this morning. Let's see who's celebrating. Carrie Ann Moss up on the board first here. You know her from The Matrix, of course. Jessica Jones, and so on. This age is going to be a little tough, I think, to guess right here.
Yeah, I know the name, but I'm not as familiar with her work, so I'm not sure.
I'll guess
36.
45.
42.
All across the board, all across wrong. 53.
No way! No way! When was this picture taken? Like 20 years ago? We have to pick better photos. No way!
Well, all right.
She looks amazing.
One more for you. There it is.
All.
There we go. Bo Burnham up right now, too. Big time YouTuber turned comedian, now turned movie producer and director. So does a lot of that stuff.
Netflix special is very funny.
Very funny, very brilliant.
He is a genius.
Also very young.
Creative.
I think he got started at about 18. So I'm going to say he's 30 today.
He's you got it right.
There it is. I'll take it. Very nice.
Nice. I was
making up for us
29.
being horribly wrong on the last one.
There it is. That's what I'm trying to do. End the week on a strong note.
Nice job, Joe. We also want to say happy birthday to some of our viewers who are celebrating today and over the weekend. Birthdays today. Happy birthday to Kyson Gress. Happy birthday, Dawn Wolf. Happy birthday, Justin DeWeese and Nate Chrisman. We also have some more birthdays for over the weekend. Happy birthday to Yates And Vicky and Jerry are celebrating 50 years. Amazing.
Congratulations,
Love
guys.
that. Congrats. And then birthdays for Shirley Freeman. Happy birthday. And happy birthday to Shelby Lingo, who's a producer here at Color 10.
Happy birthday, Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby.
Yeah, celebrating on Sunday. She does our 5 o'clock news if you ever watch that. Well, if you want us to announce your birthday or anniversary here on Daybreak, just send us an email to birthdays@color10.com.
All right, we are talking golf up next in sports. Find us on Facebook and Twitter, though, during the break.
And now, sports on Color 10 News.
Well, yesterday, the PGA Tour champions golfers took advantage of a beautiful day for round 2. Color 10's Matt Vereen shows us that the leader going into today's championship round has not won a trophy in quite some time.
Golfers heading into round 2 would usually be focused on making the cut, but that's not the case here at Buffalo Ridge Golf Course. With a 3-round format and no cut, instead, round 2 became moving day for the PGA Tour champions golfers, and one of the big names who was making moves on round 1 was at it again in round 2. Shane Birch opened the tournament Wednesday with a bogeyless 7 under to share the lead. Today, he picked up where he left off with his birdie on the par 5 first. But he wasn't alone, scoring low. Vijay Singh here with a nice bunker save on the 8th. He'd tap in birdie to stay in the top 5 at 9 under heading into Friday. Bernhard Longer even more impressive with a 7 under day, capped by this birdie on the 18th to reach double digits at -10.
Yeah, my caddy just said when I holed out on 18, so that's the best you've played since Tucson. So, kept the ball in play, hit a lot of fairways, a lot of greens, gave myself opportunities and putted decent. So, 7 under is very nice anytime.
Birch also got a big threat from birthday boy Duffy Waldorf. The newly minted 58-year-old finished off this short eagle on the 8th as part of a 6 under front 9 to tie the lead. But a 2 over back 9 makes his hopes of following a birthday celebration tonight with a trophy celebration tomorrow a little tougher.
Yeah, the birthday celebration in the room with takeout, I guess. Another exciting night in Branson, Missouri. I think I'm just thinking about the good things I did today, and hopefully I can do that for 18 holes. I've had good stretches through both rounds. You know, I just need to put 18 holes together tomorrow, and then I think I have a chance.
Meanwhile, Birch kept expanding his lead here. The Colorado native knocks down a birdie on the 8th and ends the day as your leader with eyes on his first career win since he played on the Korn Ferry Tour.
It feels great. I mean, it feels great. I don't think I've ever had a 4-stroke lead going into the final day, but, you know, I feel like if I keep doing what I'm doing, I should have plenty of looks, and I'm making some putts, so it was a really good round. I mean, it's fun when you get rolling like that. You know, I got settled in. I'm playing with some confidence right now. No, I can't say I saw myself with a 4-shot lead, but, you know, I'm glad to have it.
So Birch is into the clubhouse with a 4-stroke lead at 14 under and just his second ever PGA Tour Champions appearance. And for a guy whose 3 career wins came back on the Korn Ferry Tour, he may have finally found his calling, but we'll have to wait until round 3 to know for sure. Reporting from Buffalo Ridge, Matt Vereen, Ozarks First.
Thank you, Matt. Royals with the night off yesterday. Cardinals start a 4-game series against the Reds. Trailed 4-2 in the 9th inning. Birds manufacture 2 runs from the start, and a Colton Wong single brings home the winning run. That's a game-winning walk-off. 5-4 Birds win. Those two are back at it tonight. We go back to Elisa Raffa, who is in the weather lab with a nice sunrise happening over Springfield this morning.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Thank you. It is beautiful out there. Look at that gorgeous bright orange sunrise behind me. It is 61 degrees right now with some southerly winds and some dew points pretty pleasant in the upper 50s. We're a little bit warmer than yesterday, most spots. We've tacked on a couple of degrees. It's 61 degrees in Springfield, 59 degrees in Rowlett, and 60 degrees in West Plains. These dew points are comfortable still in the upper 50s, so even though we're a little bit warmer, the humidity is staying in control, so you've got greens still on the Muggy Meter map. Out on the patio today, you'll have sunshine, temperatures right at average at 89 degrees, and again, the humidity staying not too bad, so really a gorgeous summer day out there today. As you fire up the grill, you're looking at that high at 89 degrees, and it stays pleasant through the evening hours. So temperatures in the middle and upper 80s today, overnight lows in the 60s, and then by tomorrow, a little bit hotter with those highs around 90 degrees. Dry the whole way through, so if your car needs a little bit of a wash, you'll be able to get that done through early next week. The lakes will be gorgeous this weekend, lots of sunshine. Don't really have to worry about storm chances. It'll be hotter, though. You'll have some highs in the low to middle 90s, so just make sure you have water and sunscreen. We continue to heat up through early next week. Again, temperatures back in the low to middle 90s. Overnight lows getting stickier after a couple of really cool and crisp starts this week. The AC will be needed again on the overnight hours. After all of this, we're tracking double trouble. 2 systems forecasted to become hurricanes headed towards the Gulf of Mexico. Once they get names, they will be Laura and Marco, expected to each of them make landfall somewhere along the Gulf Coast by early next week. And then all of that moisture will be pulled there, waiting to creep northward. So we'll have to watch out for maybe some showers out of these guys by late next week.
All right, Elisa, thank you. Coming up next for you here on Daybreak, we check in with Chris the Critic for our weekly Buzz Fix. Stay with us.
Hello, movie maniacs. Movie theaters are opening this weekend. It was 162 days ago, the last time I was in the theater. This is so exciting. It'll be safe, protocols galore. But if you're not ready, maybe you wait just a little bit longer. I can tell you, I have been waiting months, I say these words to you. New this weekend at the box. Unhinged. Academy Award winner Russell Crowe stars in this psychological thriller that takes something we've all experienced, road rage, to an unpredictable and terrifying conclusion. This mom is running late, getting to work, when she crosses paths with a stranger at a traffic light. Soon she finds herself and everyone she loves the target of this man who feels invisible and is looking to make one last mark upon the world by teaching her a series of deadly lessons. The trailer in this flick features a haunting cover of Nirvana's heart-shaped box. Also new is Cutthroat City. Set after Hurricane Katrina, 4 boyhood friends out of options reluctantly accept an offer to pull off a dangerous heist in the heart of New Orleans. Ethan Hawke, Wesley Snipes, and Isaiah Washington lead this cast. Snipes and Hawke previously starred together, yet shared no scenes in 2009's Brooklyn's Finest. And another new one, Words on Bathroom Walls. A teenager coping with paranoid schizophrenia hopes his new experimental drug treatment will help him navigate high school and the outside world. Also, Burnt Orange Hershey, hired to steal a rare painting from one of the most enigmatic painters of all time, an ambitious art dealer becomes consumed by his own greed and insecurity as the operation spins out of control. Donald Sutherland and Mick Jagger, yes, I said Mick Jagger, lead this cast. Movies that were cut short in their release when theaters were closed back in March, they're back in theaters. Bloodshot. Vin Diesel is Ray Garrison, a slain soldier. He is reanimated with superpowers. I can't say this is Diesel's best. Also, some great classic and indies make their way while Hollywood slowly but surely releases films. We're getting back in business, kids. Again, if you're not ready, there are some great options from the local Moxie Cinema. You can see their screening rooms, moxiecinema.com, and it's pretty fun to have Netflix and Amazon parties with your pals safely from the comfort of your own home. Plus, it's a great time to hit the drive-in theater. This weekend, there is a different double feature every night. They have all the things you need to know at sunsetdriveinaurora.com. And as always, I love staying in touch with you on my socials. I'll keep you updated on the latest. Take time for yourself. I look forward to seeing you next time.
That's right, several theaters opening back up. No one more excited, though, than Chris the Critic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I am excited, too, but not as much as her because, yeah. And I like that she always brings up the Aurora Drive-In Theater.
Yeah.
I have not done that yet, but that is on my list of things to do because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that can be so fun to do. All right, still ahead, the top 3 things you need to know if you're just waking up.
Plus, Elisa has a look at our forecast for the weekend. Stay with us.
And now weather with meteorologist Elisa Raffa, certified by WeatherRate for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Good morning. If you're just waking up with us, it's going to be warmer out there today. Hot and sticky weekend ahead, but very nice. The sunny stretch continues. And then we've got double trouble in the tropics for late next week. A beautiful sunrise out there this morning at 61 degrees with light southerly winds, and the dew point's still pretty pleasant. We're about 5 degrees warmer than we were this time yesterday, with it being 60 in West Plains, 61 degrees in Springfield, and 59 degrees in Branson. Dew points are still in the upper 50s though, so even though we're trending a little bit warmer, the humidity is staying in control with some greens on the Muggy Meter map. If you're waiting for a package today, it's going to come in dry. You'll have lots of sunshine, seasonal highs up at 89 degrees. Details on the heat and the tropics coming up in a couple of minutes. Joe?
We have our top 3 stories for you this morning. The Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety is reminding you of the importance of not driving while impaired. Nigel McDonald is live now this morning with more on the group's message. Nigel.
Yeah, Joe, good morning. The group's message is simple: drive sober or get pulled over. Now, this campaign begins today and will run through September 7th. Now, to put some stats into perspective, back in 2019, 184 people were killed and close to 600 people were injured in crashes that involved at least one substance-impaired driver. Now, I met with John Nelson of MoDOT, and he says that it's important to remember that substance-impaired driving doesn't just include alcohol. It can include things like illegal drugs, over-the-counter medications. So he says that it's important to always have a plan. They understand that people are going to go out and celebrate for different types of reasons, but just make sure that you're doing so safely. Have a plan. Call a Lyft, call an Uber. Make sure that you have a safe way home. And also always consider others on the roadways when you're getting out into those kinds of situations so that we all can get home safely. Joe?
All right, thank you, Nija. Down in Arkansas, the extended summer for students in public schools there is finishing up, and school starts in a few days. Now, Arkansas health and education officials have added a tier risk assessment for parents in school districts that judges the district risk based on community transmission of the coronavirus. The state says this mapping data is important since some smaller communities travel to other cities when they go to school. And making news nationally, Joe Biden officially accepted the Democratic nomination for president last night in the first ever virtual national convention. He gave a speech from his home state of Delaware, where his running mate Kamala Harris is. They'll host an online fundraiser from there later on today, and on Monday, the Republican National Convention gets going.
All right, and some more national news for you this morning. Dr. Anthony Fauci, a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, is resting at home after undergoing surgery to remove a polyp from a vocal cord. Doctors advised Fauci, who is 79, to limit his speaking while he recovers. Fauci says he will be back at work on Monday. U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy will testify before a Republican-led Senate committee today. This will be DeJoy's first chance to publicly address accusations that changes he's implemented will harm mail-in voting. DeJoy's administration has removed letter sorters, ended overtime pay, and reduced postal operating hours in various states. Critics of DeJoy say his changes could hamper mail-in voting in November during a pandemic. He's since promised to pause any changes until after the election. DeJoy is scheduled to appear before a Democratic-led House committee on Monday. The president is distancing himself from former advisor Steve Bannon after Bannon was arrested in connection to an alleged fundraising scheme for a border wall. Naomi Ruckham explains the allegations and what's next for Bannon.
Former advisor to President Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, smiled as he left a New York City courthouse Thursday. He spoke briefly to a swarm of supporters and media. The president's former chief strategist is out of jail on $5 million bond after pleading not guilty to wire fraud and money laundering charges. Prosecutors say he defrauded donors in a $25 million campaign to fund a wall along the border with Mexico. Law enforcement sources say he was arrested on board a luxury yacht, taken into custody by agents from the U.S. Postal Service. Responding to the indictment, President Trump distanced himself from the alleged scheme.
I know nothing about the project other than when I read about it, I didn't like it. I said, this is for government, this isn't for private people. And it sounded to me like showboating.
The online fundraising project called We Build the Wall was supported by several of the president's allies, including his son, who praised the group at an event last year.
What you guys are doing is pretty amazing.
While the project raised millions, prosecutors say Bannon and 3 other defendants took money for themselves. Bannon is accused of taking more than $1 million. Democrats were quick to respond to the allegations.
It just shows you who this president surrounds himself with, a bunch of crooks and thieves.
Bannon is one of several close associates of President Trump to be criminally charged by the president's own Justice Department. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
After his release, Steve Bannon was forced to surrender his passport. He is set to appear in court again at the end of the month. And now let's catch you up on how the markets look. The Nikkei closed up 39 points. The Dow futures are up 46 points, and the Nasdaq futures are up 118 points. We'll be right back, but during the break, we hope you'll subscribe to the Color 10 News Daybreak in 10 podcast. You can just search for Color 10 News wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe.
And now weather with meteorologist Elisa Raffa, certified by Weather8 for the most accurate forecast in the Ozarks.
Good morning and congratulations, you've made it to Friday. It's a beautiful start out there this morning. We've got some very pretty sunshine at 61 degrees with some light southerly winds and pleasant dew points. We're a little bit warmer than we were this time yesterday by about 5 degrees in spots. It is 64 degrees in Monette, 61 in Springfield, 59 degrees in Camden, and 60 degrees in Mountain Grove. The warmer temperatures, though, are still coming with some of that lower humidity with these dew points in the upper 50s. So it's feeling pretty good out there this morning. We're still at the bottom of the monkey meter map with things feeling pretty comfortable and pretty good. We'll climb it just a little bit going into the weekend. Things just may be feeling a little bit stickier. But for now, you still have that high pressure in control. It's tossing in that pleasant air mass, so things are still feeling pretty good out there this morning with the greens on the Muggy meter map. It is very comfortable out there this afternoon, even as we get temperatures closer to average. 89 degrees is spot on for this time of year, so it'll be warm, but not necessarily all that humid. We're looking at temperatures in the middle 60s tonight, and then by tomorrow, a little bit hotter and stickier with those highs up in near 90 degrees. This area of high pressure will continue to just flatten out and sprawl out and bring us a drying pattern, right, where things stay pretty dry, really not looking at too much in the way of rain at all. And we'll find that heat cranking up. You've got that drier air in place for most of the weekend into early next week, but we're watching some of this tropical moisture creep in by the middle of next week as not one, but two systems start to impact the Gulf Coast. So here's what to expect. A warming trend continues. You're near 90 degrees today. Hot and sticky this weekend with some highs in the lower 90s. Still not really finding too much in the way of rain until we look at the tropics by next week. Right now you've got two tropical depressions. Right now they're named to 13 and 14 because they still need a little bit more organization to get a name. Once they get that organization, the names are going to be Laura and Marco, whichever one strengthens first will get the name Laura. Both of these headed eastward, one tracking across the Caribbean islands and then sideswiping Florida, the other coming up the Yucatan Peninsula and then headed up the Gulf of Mexico. So you've got Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, all in the cone of concern for next week. Of course, still a lot of question marks as far as, you know, landfall, intensity, impacts, all things like that. So we've got some time to figure that out. But all of this moisture will be along the coast and then would surge northward. So we've got to watch out for humidity and shower chances here. 89 degrees today, mostly sunny and warmer with a southerly wind. 62 degrees overnight tonight, still pretty nice. 91 degrees tomorrow, turning hot and sticky. You're hot and sticky this weekend and then going into early next week. If we see anything, even if it's just like more clouds and more of a humid feel from the tropical stuff happening on the Gulf, it wouldn't be until maybe Thursday, Friday. It's like we still have a way long ways to go.
A lot more tracking to happen before we get there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just an early mention for you guys, an early heads up.
All right, let's take a look at some headlines happening this morning. Just a couple for you here. And we got to go to Japan for this first one. And guys, I got to know, do you like haunted houses like that?
No.
I do. Yes.
Oh my gosh, guys.
I hope we get to have them
This is a new
year.
thing now. A drive-through haunted house has opened in the summer in Tokyo. That's a little scary. So you get the thrill of the haunted house. You don't get out of your car. Zombies attack your car and smear it with blood.
Is there a drive-through?
It's a haunted house drive-through, guys.
Is there a car wash afterwards? So
For all the blood.
We're getting there, Jen. This idea is one way to get people to try and leave their houses and, you know, pay for entertainment again because the coronavirus says, that lady's so scary. The coronavirus has done so much right now. Now check it out. These are the people getting ready for it. After you go through the drive-through, which takes about 11 minutes or so, they clean your cars. The zombies clean your cars for you.
There you go.
Really?
How do you like that?
I like this a lot because it gives the actors the job, you know, and people are spending money on entertainment and the arts again. And if you like haunted houses, which I do, there's a new way to do it. And I think it'll be less scary because you know you're in your car and subconsciously you know you're safe in your car, you know?
No.
And they can't get in there.
You couldn't
Just
pay
scream as loud as you want.
No, you couldn't pay me to do it. Sorry.
Well, if they come to America,
I'm
that's
the
what
opposite.
we're doing.
I'm totally
Daybreak
doing
trip.
this. Yeah, I'm doing. All right, this next headline is from another artist. He does kid stories. He reads them. Well, he doesn't read them. He raps them. Wes Tank is his name, and he's been on YouTube, very creative, rapping the Dr. Seuss books and all of the classics like The Three Little Pigs and things like that.
Green Eggs and Ham.
Yes.
Yeah.
He raps them, and it is so entertaining to watch. I was watching some this morning. Well, now he will have his own show, and it's on Kid Doodle, Kid Doodle TV, which I think is just TV for kids.
Yeah, anyone who's got a parent knows, or anyone who is a parent knows this.
Knows this,
right?
yeah. So now he will have his own show. There it is with his co-creator, and yeah, it's very cool that very successful from YouTube now to his own show. That's the news, but I just think that it's very creative and very fun to watch too. And not only for kids, but for adults. Man, I would watch his videos all day.
I mean, I bet it gets the kids excited about reading too. You know, I'm sure kids who love him and watch him are going to want to read their book and try to rap and read. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I was this creative, guys. It's so simple. Just taking a book and rapping and adding a little flavor to it. And now look, guy's got his own show.
Exactly. And for the kids, it gets the creative juices flowing too. Like, hey, into music, into rap, into whatever. And reading too, and all of the above.
I love it. All right, stay with us, everyone. Daybreak in 10 is up when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. It's time for Daybreak in 10 on Color 10.
We are on the air with you for the next 10 minutes without commercials beginning right now. And first, let's head on over to meteorologist Elisa Raffa with our forecast. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, guys. We are starting out with a beautiful sunrise on this Friday. Some bright oranges out there. It is 61 degrees, a very pleasant start. You've got some southerly winds and dew points in the upper 50s. We're a little bit warmer than we were this time yesterday, continuing to tack on a few degrees each day. It's 61 degrees in Springfield, 64 in Monette, and 60 degrees in Mountain Grove. Again, dew points are still pretty pleasant, even though it's a little bit warmer. The humidity staying in control, and it feels good on the Muggy meter map. At the pool today, you're looking at a high spot on at average, 89 degrees, warm, sunny, and really nice as you fire up the grill. A beautiful day to do that. You're looking at a pleasant feel as we head through the evening. Temperatures in the middle and upper 80s today, overnight lows in the 60s, and temperatures around 90 degrees for tomorrow. So hot and sticky weekend ahead. Sunshine both days, will be dry. Highs get back into the lower 90s, so not terribly hot, but just a little bit hotter than we've been. So a sticky weekend ahead. Still little to no rain chances. The next rain chances might come in the way of some tropical showers by late next week as we track two storms headed towards the Gulf of Mexico. Otherwise, we continue to heat up. You're looking at temperatures in the low to middle 90s going into next week. Those overnight lows stay muggy as well, getting back up towards that 70-degree mark. Joe, Jen.
New for you this morning, the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety is reminding drivers of the importance of not driving while impaired. Nigel McDonald is live this morning with more on this group's message. Nigel.
Yeah, Joe, good morning. The group's message is pretty simple: drive sober or get pulled over. Now, their campaign begins today and will last until September 7th. Now, to put this into perspective, back in 2019, 184 people were killed and nearly 600 were severely injured in crashes that involved at least one substance-impaired driver. Now, John Nelson works for MoDOT and says impaired driving is a year-round concern in Missouri, but says the goal of this campaign is to help create public awareness to the dangers and consequences of driving while under the influence. He says it's important for people to understand their decisions matter. Nelson says if you plan to go out and drink, you need to establish a plan to get home safe beforehand. He suggests using things like Lyft, Uber. He says some bars will even help in setting you up with a safe ride home.
I think just having a plan beforehand, if you know you're going to go out, we get that. People are going to go out, they're going to have a good time, they're going to celebrate different things. But just think of that plan beforehand, because you get in that state, you're probably not going to come up with that plan whenever you're already impaired and not making sound judgments. So having a friend there, that's going to ensure that plan gets put in place, or a family member. But just taking advantage of those services that are there.
Well, Nelson says to always think about others on the roadways when you get into those kinds of situations. Reporting live in Springfield, Nigel McDonald, Ozarks First.
The 14th annual Hot Air Balloon Glow is happening tonight as a drive-through event and has a new location. You can visit Nix's Macaulay Park from 8 to 9:30. Visitors are invited to drive around the X Center and check out the balloons. Organizers say the pandemic and recommendations for large group events are the reasons for these changes this year. The Hot Air Balloon Glow is a major fundraiser for the Children's Smile Center and is set to raise more than $30,000 that will help give children access to better dental care.
To some news around the region for you as work continues. At the site of Cape Girardeau's new City Hall, a controversial monument is gone. Construction crews boxed up and moved the monument dedicated to Confederate soldiers who died during the Civil War. It has been put in a secure facility for storage for now. As for what will happen to it in the future, that will be discussed in a future City Council meeting there.
News from around America. Actress Lori Loughlin and her husband are expected to be sentenced today for their roles in a college admissions scandal. Federal prosecutors want the actress to be sentenced to 2 months in prison, while her husband could get 5 months behind bars. The sentencing follows agreed upon terms after the couple pleaded guilty to conspiracy charges in May.
The Justice Department is asking the Supreme Court to review the decision to vacate the death sentence for the convicted Boston Marathon bomber. U.S. Attorney Andrew Lelling says he hopes this will result in the reinstatement of the original sentence. A federal appeals court in July ruled to vacate that sentence, which means the bomber could be given a new penalty phase trial with new jurors. The court said he will at least remain in federal prison for the remainder of his life.
At least 4 people have died as the LNU Lightning Complex fire continues to grow in California. Authorities say 3 people in Napa County and 1 person in Solano County have died. The fire has grown to more than 215,000 acres and remains at 0% containment. 480 structures have been destroyed and damaged, another 125. More than 30,000 structures remain threatened by the wildfires.
And in some news from around the world, health authorities in Beijing, China, have removed a requirement for people to wear masks outdoors as the city reported 13 straight days without any new coronavirus cases. Despite the relaxed guidelines, though, a large portion of people continued to wear them outdoors in Beijing earlier today. Some said the masks still make them feel safe, while others said social pressures to wear them were also a factor there.
A Panama-flagged tanker, which is believed to have been hijacked, was pictured in the Gulf of Aden off Somalia. 6 armed men seized the ship late Wednesday after it had engine problems. Authorities say this is the first successful hijacking since 2017 and that 20 crew members are on board. Pictures show the small tanker that carries chemical or crude products at anchor off Barita.
Area first responders can visit Cox Health Hospitals over the next 4 Fridays for free lunch as part of the hospital's annual salute to first responders. It starts today at Cox Monette from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. No RSVP is required, but the meal will be served to go rather than dine-in. Cox Branson will host on the 28th. That's followed by Cox Barton County on September 4th and Cox North on September 11th.
Borough Behavioral Health is hosting a virtual back-to-school event today. They will be offering free mental health resources for students, families, and teachers. The resources include a free 30-minute summit at noon on Facebook Live and a downloadable handbook. You can find more information and the handbook at boroughcenter.com/back-to-school.
The Springfield Greene County Health Department will be holding a news briefing this afternoon at 2:30. Health Director Clay Goddard and Springfield Police Chief Paul Williams are scheduled to talk about the enforcement of the city's current phase on the road to recovery. Make sure to tune in here on Color 10 at 2:30. You can also watch, though, on our website, ozarksfirst.com.
Now here's a look at what's coming up after daybreak.
Coming up, now that Joe Biden's his party's nominee for president, we'll talk to Vice President Mike Pence about next week's Republican convention. Plus, 100 years ago, American women got the right to vote. A look at the future of women's rights. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
All right, final weekend for a lot of kids before back to school. How's it going to look?
Hot and sticky, a really nice, really summery weekend, really. Sunshine and highs in the lower 90s.
Hot and sticky is all we have to know, I guess, for the weekend. Thanks for joining us.